NBA players were almost killed. Who fixed?
From Shaq almost being eaten by a shark.
Got time to kill me.
To another player getting into a firework accident.
No, what?
There's a ton of ways that NBA players were almost killed.
Wow.
And first, an entire team
I like
almost died in a plane crash.
I like Deep Fix because I know a lot of stuff about the NBA, but he be telling me some information that sometimes I just didn't know. So I kind of like that. But hopefully, let's see how many things that I already know.
February 25th, 2023, the Clippers were scheduled to play the Nuggets the very next day. So the whole team hopped on a plane for this quick flight from Los Angeles to Denver. But once they got in the air, a storm hit, and out of nowhere, the plane got struck by lightning. This had the plane shaking until the engine completely shut off. And with everybody freaking out, now the plane was in a free fall.
So the pilot warned us, right? Before we took off, he was like, listen, it's going to be some turbulence. We're going to Denver. Like, it's going to get a little rocky. So we're like, all right, like, bet. We've been on thousands of flights. Like, we know what turbulence feels like. So, like, all right, cool. Can't be that bad. So we flying, right? We just feel like the plane dropped. It was like a free fall. Like, you go on a roller coaster, you go on a free fall. Like, it was that feeling. Everybody felt it. You heard it from the front of the plane all the way to the back of the plane. And I was like, I'm just going to sleep. And it happened a couple times. So then now, like, that made sense, that the turbulence, right? But this was more than usual. This was definitely the most that we felt. Then we heard the plane just shut all the way off.
Oh my goodness. It was just falling? It was just falling. That's crazy.
That NBA players were almost killed. This next NBA star was actually almost killed by another NBA player. When Marcus Aldridge retired out of nowhere, it just didn't make any sense. This man wasn't that old yet. He was now on his 19, and it seemed like he had a lot of game left to give. But on April 10th, 2021, in Brooklyn, New York, things took a wild turn. Aldridge was starting at center like usual, with all eyes on him during a game against the Lakers. At first he was going off with a couple dunks, and even a few easy layups. But suddenly everything changed when during a play, Andre Drummond bumped into his chest. After scoring, dude was clowning while doing the too small celebration. But little did he know, he almost killed Aldridge. Because instantly his heart was beating out of rhythm, but the adrenaline pushed him to just play through it.
The whole thing with my heart is like, if I'm out of rhythm, I'm about to pass out. Running was to straighten up, so you're good to go. It was the first time I was running and my stuff wouldn't straighten up. It was still going slow. You're supposed to be like 100 and some beats and you were at like 60, and how is that even possible? So I was home that night, laying down, and like my shit was getting so slow, I just kept passing out. I was like, I'll get through the night and I'll be good. So the whole night I'm laying there thinking I'm about to die. Then I called the trainer like 6 a.m. like, I can't take it no more. Go to the hospital. Like, they checked me out. I was shook because I had just signed with Brooklyn. I didn't know the doctor. So I go home to my doctor. He's like, I'm going to risk it, but like, I've never seen this happen to you. Every other doctor was like, you're good, you're good, you're good. So the team's calling me and calling me and calling me, and I'm just like listening to him. So I was like, you know what, I'm done. So I called him and I'm like crying, emotional. You know what I'm saying? So then I retire and like it goes crazy or whatever. As soon as
bro, that's crazy. So I hope he got it fixed.
Because I was just like, I was gonna die.
So with Aldridge walking away from the thing he loved most, his sudden retirement had everybody talking about it.
Breaking news into First Take this morning. After 15 years in the league, Marcus Aldridge announced he is retiring from the NBA. He played his last game on April 10th with an irregular heartbeat. Aldridge saying in a statement, quote, "Though I'm better now, when I felt my heart that night, it was still one of the scariest things I've experienced."
God bless him and his family. I'm glad that he's safe. I'm glad that he's okay. And clearly he's making the right decision, because what he's saying is this kid is living hell out.
Marcus Aldridge said,
I think I'm just gonna get right with God. I praise Jesus, bro. God first.
But even though everyone felt that retiring was the best,
really gotta give it back to Christ.
It actually made things even worse. Because he admitted that he started struggling with depression and didn't know what to do next, because hooping is what kept him happy. So he decided to risk it all just to play basketball for one final season.
Doctor hit me up like, hey, if you really want to try this again, let's spend the whole summer putting you through every test I can put you through. So I did every test possible. Man, I passed all of them, and he was like, even if this happened again, I'm confident that you won't die. Obviously, you can't say 100%, but I think everything I've looked at.
Well, he wouldn't get his life for the game.
Had to go through the NBA. It was a long ass process, bro. Because, you know, the NBA, they don't want you dying either, obviously, but past all that. So they was like, okay, now where do you want to go? like I'm back clear to play, and then I had the option to Boston or Brooklyn. And I'm like, which I was with Brooklyn, and that shit was wild. Easy shots with Kevin, James, hit me with the lob, so it was like, I'm gonna go back there. And then it was just a whole different season. But anyway, so then I didn't really play towards the end, and then that was it.
Man, you gotta respect LaMarcus for even getting back out there after almost losing his life. But another way an NBA star was almost killed caused a $3 million scandal. Kelly Oubre's life was about to turn into a police investigation after a story he told. Kelly had just signed with a new team, the 76ers.
And this one he got ran over or something?
Of course he wanted to explore. It's never been a secret that Kelly's loved biking recklessly.
I've always had a bike, I've always had a skateboard, I've always been a rockaholic kid, and just love to do, like, I guess, stuff.
And that's why the 76ers put a clause in his contract that, to protect him from any off-court injuries, biking was not allowed during the season.
Wow.
If it was found out that he biked, he wouldn't make his guaranteed millions, and his contract would be terminated.
Oh,
instead of following orders, Kelly tried secretly riding bikes anyway. And he was about to pay an even bigger price when apparently out of nowhere, a speeding car crashed into him, then fled the scene. Kelly somehow made it all the way back home on his own, hoping to keep that he was biking a secret. Little did he know though, cameras caught him with his bike in serious pain. After that, his crew called 911 and Kelly was rushed to the hospital. This whole time, Kelly didn't know footage of him with a bike would get out. So he claimed he was just walking the streets when he became the victim of a hit and run. But when doctors diagnosed Kelly with some pretty serious injuries like a fractured rib, a messed up hip, and a wrecked leg, this story began going viral everywhere. But as police began investigating, absolutely nothing was making any sense.
The police say they still have no video or images of the hit-and-run crash involving Kelly Oubre that he reported happened right here.
Somebody damn near hit you, and evidently the side of the mirror caught the side of your body, and because of that, you end up going to the hospital, but still though, it was hitting. You know how much of a speed they had to be going through for the side mirror of a car to hit you and have to hospitalize you? I'm sorry, but something's a little fishy.
So with everybody skeptical about what really happened, reporters even confronted Kelly's coach about the lack of evidence.
Can you address where the Kelly Oubre's injuries did not occur according to the police? They have no evidence that it was with a hit and run. I would not address that, but I don't have an answer other than the news was reported so far.
Regardless though, with there being no video of an accident at all, no witnesses, no suspects, and no mention of riding a bike whatsoever, everybody started assuming that Kelly was lying about how he was almost killed by someone, and instead just got injured while biking. But not every NBA player almost died once, because John Wall almost took his own life twice. Now, things weren't always so dark for Wall. For a while, he was on top of the basketball world. Once he came into the NBA as the #1 pick, he instantly became one of the most exciting players to watch. The man was faster than the Flash, he was acrobatic, dunked on people, Wall really put the team on his back to carry him into playoff runs, and he was especially looking like a star when he hit game-winning shots.
Look at Crowley for three! What a shot!
Wall quickly cemented himself as one of the best point guards in the league. So his Wizards blessed him with a contract worth $171 million. Like nothing could go wrong.
That's a lot of money, bro.
As quickly as Wall entered his prime, with what seemed like he had a bright future ahead, everything was about to come crashing down. His body started giving out, so he dealt with injuries, until eventually he suffered the worst injury of his career.
Here he goes. Puts it up and it scores.
Wall was like, he was a less athletic, better shooter, but more acrobatic Westbrook.
Again, and he's on the floor and he's in pain.
John Wall, already out for the rest of this season because of his injured heel, now needs surgery for a ruptured Achilles after slipping in his home, according to the team.
It's crazy. He literally slipped and broke his Achilles. Slipped and tore his Achilles. Crazy.
and you heal and be recovering from that, and then have this happen. This is a major injury for a player like this.
That scary announcement.
And then
he had Wall out for over a year.
And he mostly got to the basket too, so he's not a shooter.
Worst moments of his life, because immediately after, his best friend, his grandma, and his mom, who did everything for him growing up, passed away.
He lost 3 people.
That's what I'm saying.
So he lost 3 of the most people in his life. And he tore his Achilles all in the same year. That's crazy.
Thank you for being a mom. I don't know what to tell growing up. But me and my 2 sisters see my dad go to jail at a young age. And you sacrificing everything. I think you put me to school. Take me to school. Pick me from school. I always wondered what it felt like to best friend. I never had a chance.
Wall was beyond emotional. So both the mental and physical pain he was dealing with never allowed him to fully recover or perform like the player he once was. And to make the situation even worse, the team he gave everything to just couldn't wait any longer. So they traded him away to one of the worst teams in the league.
Man, imagine getting traded to Houston, bro.
Basically Wall's breaking point that made him want to end his life.
Actually, Houston wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, right now, like, when he got traded, it was bad, but, like, historically, they're not that bad of a team. And it's a nice place to live. Texas, Houston, you know, it is hot, but it's, like, great living, you know. One of the biggest, you know, cities, states.
How does your kids help you get to that time? Because I know that's a rough time, right?
Yeah, dude. If it weren't for my kids, I wouldn't be here. To be honest, you know what I mean? Like I said before, you're in a dark place. Like, people don't know I tore my Achilles, had 4 infections. I always had to cut my foot off.
Oh my goodness.
It was about to be over. My mom got us.
He almost had to, like, take his foot off, amputate his foot.
Pass. When I get traded from DC to Houston, we were out there for 10 years. Then my grandma died a year later. Then I'm not playing basketball. I'm in a bad spot. I'm like what the f is going on? Like, yo, this got to happen to me. Yeah, back to back. Like, I go from the second best player in the East, top 10, top 15 player in the league, then that every day to go. You know what I mean? To like basically rock bottom. Like, to have it all. And not by choice, though. It happened.
Now, talking like that wasn't Wall looking for sympathy. He was just telling the world what he was really going through. But with it being a star athlete saying something so terrifying, of course the story was talked about everywhere.
But I gotta tell you, when I heard this story last night, I can't wait to see it, because people like myself and a few others owe that man an apology. We're being honest, because we didn't know. That's not to say that anything was said about him cruelly or anything that was said with malicious intent. But the fact of the matter is, it's just a reminder that you never know what people are going through. I certainly never knew any of that stuff.
And now with everybody concerned, Wall almost taking his life once was surprising enough. But eventually he admitted it wasn't even the only time.
I have 10 more hours. I'm lit. I go outside through all that. I'm like, man, I'm messed up. Like, I can't even go bother. But just like, speaking of that moment, like, my mom is my best friend. Like, I still got her same phone number saved. I text her every morning. Me too. I call it, because I talk to my mom 5-6 times a day. So I know how it is. I tell people, mental health is serious.
That's what mom wants for best friend. That was
like, even my 2 boys, I'm going to put it in my head twice. A lot of people that's close to me, my friends at the time, didn't know. And not to bring it y'all, but now that I got the video came out, throwing on game time and stuff like that, that's when I was in my darkest moment, trying to figure out to find happiness. Go back there. You said you had a... Yeah.
Now that definitely shocked the world. And to me, an actual fan of Wall the person, not just the player, I'm just thankful he got some help so that he's still with us today.
Yeah, bro.
But another NBA player wasn't so lucky, because he was forced to quit basketball forever after a car accident.
Oh, man.
Chandler Parsons never thought buying his dream car, a Rolls Royce, would turn into such a night. He was driving this thing everywhere, until one day he was heading home. A drunk driver crashed right into him.
Wait, that's it?
I get hit, right? And I wake up. By the time I wake up, there's already sirens. I just remember the windows were bashed in, the airbags were out. I had a cut on my wrist where it was bleeding, and I couldn't move my neck. And I'm
like, my goodness,
this is serious. And I can see the guy who hit me, and he's completely knocked out, blood everywhere. And I'm like, wow, like this is scary. And so I'm looking at my car's all messed up. There's red everywhere, and I hear this voice. I'm not like a religious, spiritual kind of guy like that. But I hear this voice, and it's like, Chandler, Mr. Parsons, we're coming to get you. You're going to be okay. At that moment, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, like this is what happens. Like I died. This is what happened. This is God. Like this is what happens, right? Blood everywhere.
After the accident, Chandler's car was completely totaled. So police rushed to the scene. Chandler was rushed to the hospital. And here's where doctors found out that he suffered more than just a cut on his wrist and a sore neck. Chandler also suffered some life-changing injuries, so even his coach was concerned.
I haven't spoken to Chandler in a few days. I definitely haven't spoken. I just asked if he's doing all right. And last time I did, he was banged up pretty bad.
Now, Chandler's team eventually released an injury report as if it was something minor. But it turned out that things were more severe than just whiplash, a concussion, and a disc injury. He suffered a traumatic injury to his brain that was so bad, it caused permanent memory issues.
And that kind of forced my hand to basically retire. And I never thought I'd do that at 31 years old. You want to go out on your own terms.
So with Chandler being at the prime of his career and forced into a sudden retirement, Chandler had no choice but to sue the driver for a ridiculous amount of money. And because the man who crashed into him was caught drunk driving for a fourth time, he got thrown to jail for life.
Oh, dang.
Justice being served, could never repay Chandler for what happened to him. Now, alright, sometimes NBA players almost die from something stupid. Like when Nick Young almost lost everything just to go viral.
Bro. Bro. Yeah.
Yeah, how? Catfish?
Wait, what?
I don't know. That's right.
Who is this?
Okay, Chris.